All right, so today I'm going to show you a really quick walkthrough of how I have set up an automatic deal creation inside of Adio when an inbound form gets filled on my Webflow site. There's a couple of other components that go into it, as you can see in the main workflow here, but it's pretty straightforward. So I just wanted to record this quick loom so that you can see what it looks like. Cool. So maybe where I'll start is actually on my website. So this is our website, and if you go to automate your GTM, the main CTA, there is a native Webflow form here. A note here, it doesn't really matter whether you're using Webflow or WordPress or another custom-made website builder or custom code or whatever it is, right? The general sort of principles stay exactly the same because wherever your inbound form lives, it just needs to be able to send this information over to Adio. And the way we do that, we receive that inside of Adio is through a webhook. And so I just want to show you what it looks like in terms of the actual website, because you can see this is my Webflow form here, designed by yours truly here. So one day we'll definitely update and put some more polish on the website, but that's for another day. For the time being, I've created this form, right? And if you look at each of these input fields, the white boxes, it gives you the form field name, right? So this is contact name, contact email, company. Even the drop downs have a name, so contact, company size, contact overview, and so on, right? What we do inside of Adio is we receive that webhook. So whenever someone fills out this form, what happens is, so they fill out this form. I have, under the site settings, under apps and integrations, I have created a webhook. So if you create a webhook, right, you can actually say what type of trigger type you want, and you want that to be the form submission, right? So whenever a form is submitted, you want that to go to your Adio webhook. And I believe, I'm not going to open it up here, but whenever you select a webhook received as your trigger inside of the workflow builder in Adio, it gives you a URL that is where you can receive the webhook. So you just need to create that trigger and then copy and paste that webhook URL into this webhook URL when you're creating a webhook. I've blurred this out so that you can't see what it says here, but that's it, right? And then you receive that webhook. And what's going to happen is this webhook is going to contain a payload that has all of the form information, right? Now, in order to be able to take that text data, right, like the contact's name, email address, company name, or whatever, we need to parse that because it's in JSON, which is JavaScript object notation. I think that's what it stands for. And so we need to actually parse that. And when we parse it, we actually have to tell. It doesn't do it automatically, so you actually have to tell it that inside the payload, there's going to be an object called data, and inside of that is where you put all of those form field names that I showed you, right? So here, right, contact overview is, where is that? Contact overview is like here, right? And then where is contact name, right? So contact name here, right? So each of these fields is mapped out into a field here. And now what Adio can do is pull out that string or text from that payload. And so if I change any of the forms or the form field names, I will have to update this as well. Once I've parsed out that JSON, I'm going to either create or update a record. And this is sort of a common, I guess, database concept, right? So what we do is we try to look for that company with a domain, right? Because I asked for the company website here. What we do is we look at that domain and we try to match it. So we look for, do we have another company that already has that company URL in our company's records, right? If yes, then update it with the company name. And this is just mapped. So you can see insert variable. This is being pulled from where we parse the JSON here, right? Company name. If it doesn't exist, then create that record, right? So if the domain doesn't exist already in our records, create it. And we do the same thing with a person, right? And we try to look for it, look for the person based on their email address, which tends to be unique, right? So that's a good way to try to match. If we can't find it, then update that person. Then what we do is we create a deal, right? So I've created an object called deal, and what I do is I just put the company name as the deal name. Deal stage is lead, deal owner is me, and because I know where this is coming from, it's going to be inbound, and it's going to be, the source is going to be the website, right? And so that's a tag property that I've set up for the deal object, right? So those two come out, and then I've had to test this to learn this, but you need to put a delay here. Because it takes a little bit of time to create this new deal if you're going to do anything to that deal. And I do, right? So I wait for 10 seconds, and then what I do is I send an HTTP request to Adio's API to create a note on the deal. Right now, in the workflow builder, you can't create a note, and so you have to use an HTTP request module to create a note on that deal. And all I do is I just append the form information, right? The form that the lead filled out, I want that to be turned into a note on that deal, so that I don't have to like look it up inside the Webflow or my email address or whatever, right? And so that's where I look it up. And then, there's my API key, so I'm just gonna have to roll that. So yeah, don't try using this because I am going to update this and remove it. And definitely when you set this up, don't show this to anyone else. And then what I do is I update the record, because now what I want to do is, okay, I've created a deal, right? And I've created or updated the company and the person. Now that I've created the deal, I want to associate that deal back to that person and the company so that they're all interconnected. When I click on the company, I can also pull up that deal pretty easily, right? By that association. And so with that company, I'm just updating it because I know that I've created it or updated it, right? So I don't have to create it again. And what I'm updating is that the associated deal, I'm going to put that created record there. Do the same thing to the person, right? Deals, I've created that attribute to associate the deal that I've created, right? And then finally, I just post a message to channel saying, oops, new deal created in Adio, and then record name full. So record name, this is actually the company's name. And then this is the contact's name, and then the contact's email address. Pretty simple. And then it comes through in my notification channel so that I know when this happens. And then I can come into deals and actually take a look at it. So for the final step of this walkthrough, I'm just going to create a dummy record or dummy inbound inquiry so that you can actually see what it looks like under deals. So I'm just going to do test. And then I'm just going to do test.test.com, test.com. We'll say that we have 6.5, test overview. We'll say test workflow. And let's try to pass this CAPTCHA. Perfect. And I submit it. Cool. So the inquiry has been submitted. Now what's going to happen is you're going to see that it's running right now. So this is kind of cool if we look here. Right, it's completed, running. So you can, it's kind of cool that Adio actually shows you the automation as it's running. And now if I go to my deals page, you can see here, I've set a filter on here so that the deal name only contains test. But you can see now that it includes everything here, right? As we set it up. So deal name, deal stage is lead, deal owner is me, associated people, associated company, all inbound website, right? Everything's mapped. And then we also have a note that has been added through that API call that I showed you, right? So the form information, all of that information comes through here, which you can also see in notes here, right? So pretty simple walkthrough of setting up a very rudimentary inbound form, creating a deal inside your Adio instance, but thought this might be interesting for some of you. So hope you learned something, you enjoyed this walkthrough, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me either through my website or on LinkedIn or email. Cool. Thanks.